essentially what we're going to do is this will be our kind of last meeting for us to brainstorm and talk about the project. And then after this point, what we're going to do is we are going to send out this kind of proposal that we created, and the officers, when I say we, and whoever wants to can submit one of these proposals to the officers, and the deadline will be December 17th to submit it to the officers. The officers are then going to get together as a group. We'll review the proposal to determine, each project based on feasibility, the baseline parameters that we've all discussed, and what we're going to continue to discuss today, the baseline parameters, and then feasibility, the number of similar submissions. So if everybody decides on a certain thing, then that's part of what we will agree on. And then we'll take the top submissions and present those to everybody for majority. And or volunteer at multiple charities, and each charity will represent their own category. That was the vast majority of people's decision in the poll. So the other poll was for the categories, and the Leadership Foundations, which was the endowment, and Junior Leadership Charlotte got 17 votes. Mental Health as a topic got 10 votes. An umbrella charity got 5 votes. Cross sector got 5 votes.
That's right. For the Junior Leadership Charlotte, is there a certain percentage that if we did donate that we would have to donate, or is there like suggested or anything that's typically previous Leadership Charlottes have done?
No, there's not a required amount.
And speaking of the other leadership program, the endowment fund, just want to make sure it's clear to everyone, either we donate $5,000 and get 1 seat on the board to make decisions for future grants, or we donate $10,000 and we get 2 seats on the board, and that is the limit of what we can do. We could donate more, but we wouldn't get more seats on the board.
What I'm hearing requires us at certain thresholds, 1, 5,000, 2, 10,000, that you're actually sitting on a board. Right. Okay.
Are there people who work for the nonprofit sector on that board? Because that could be a conflict of interest for me for my career.
Could be.
He's like, that's an answer.
And that, I look back to my high school experiences, junior high school experiences. I didn't have a lot of opportunities like leadership programs, but the little that I did have exposure really had a big role in what I ended up doing for a living, because I got to see abused children or other things.
As you're thinking about the projects and the nonprofits you're wanting to support, either put down the nonprofit you're interested in supporting, and we will call them and find out what they might need our help with.
Or you can ask them for small, medium, and large. So if the purse is this much, if the purse is smaller, what would be a smaller item? If it's a medium,
Like you say, an area and an amount, that'd be the most item.
And I think you can get as detailed or undetailed in these submissions as you want to, and then we'll put them together. I think no one should expect that the final submissions are going to be 100%. what one person submitted. We're gonna take what everyone seems to be interested in doing and then combine them and say, okay, looks like we have a large group of people who might be interested in this. Alright, so moving on to the fundraiser. We are going to need to do at least 2 different fundraisers. One to get seed money for a big fundraiser, and then an actual big fundraiser. It was thrown out at the last meeting, why don't we all put an X amount of money to get our seed funding, and I would like to mix that idea, not everyone has. We are going to need to do at least 2 different fundraisers. One to get seed money for a big fundraiser, and then
They did a combination run up crawl through Punta Gorda. And they went across the 41 bridge and back, and then they had different pubs that people stopped at. It was kind of an all-day affair, and from what I hear, it was really successful.
Did they need to have EMS
Waivers.
or something? Yeah, waivers?
Yes.
So everybody, for any run, they sign a waiver. You do it through there's run sign up that takes care of all that. There are waivers built in, they sign up through run sign up. They take a certain percentage, which you can add to the entry fee, like the $2.50, or you incorporate that into your run. You don't need EMS there, but they fall down, that's their problem, we call EMS. The problem is once you cross roads, you have to start closing off roads and getting permits from Mr. John Ellis, from me, from EMS. If you're doing it, no.
I don't want to be heavy-handed here, but like we're approving to his point, a run today that they're doing this weekend, the Gaines Park run or one of those. And they're like, we gotta get this done, we gotta approve the route. Yeah, I don't know that it's a costly thing, but I can't imagine that the county would approve something to where there's alcohol.
city,
We're gonna
it's
be
not-
breaking it.
I mean,
The one thing's
I
outside.
love performances, like that was my life before COVID, and then there was no performing arts. But like, the reason performing arts companies are always nonprofits is you cannot make money.
I think part of me just instinctively has to think that Becca is right, not just because she did it, but because I rarely see big charity things that are, except for like Live Aid, yes, but that is like a very big, like local, like I see a lot of 5Ks raising money, but I just don't, I've never heard of a concert.
Expecting 7,000.
Yeah.
That's what they thought, 7,000 were gonna be there, only 2. So it's not.
This isn't my wheelhouse. You know, I'm kind of like John, will roll up my sleeves and jump in and help. But it's not my strength.
We don't have to put that much money out, you know, and especially if we have a community, if you know of a community of runners, it helps, because they just go from one run to another.
They do.
They just hop to one to another.
And if everybody shares it on their Facebook, they'll
And
get their friends that
unfortunately,
are
performing
runners.
arts, it doesn't, I mean, I did one recently and we did it as much as we wanted, so unfortunately, but, you know, that was just.
How much is the run gonna make?
A run can make between, depending on, it can make 10,000, it could make 30,000, it just depends on what we pick and everything. And I can start a run with literally $500, I can start a run.
And there are tons of like things you can add on to runs, like raffle. Like I've been at runs where like you get there and then you buy raffle tickets and you do this other thing and like so.
5K, most runners should be done within an hour. So within an hour, you're giving out awards for all different classes, and they're on their way. So by 9, 10 o'clock, you should be closed and shut down with that.
So you would like to be done before your last class? Because I can tell you, the history has shown, if you don't do it before your last class, the majority will not be involved.
We're going to meet right after the new year as officers to look at those. And then I would like to set a meeting the second week of January so that we can vote on those.
I thought we were gonna have it locked
Yeah.
down by the 17th. I don't know why my brain is.
No, they're gonna give us their submissions by the 17th, and that's a hard deadline. This is gonna be one of those, I'm being mean things. December 17th is a hard deadline. If you send me your proposal December 18th, I'm gonna delete it. So, and I know that sounds mean, but that's just because if I don't put a deadline on it, then there's gonna be straggler, and like I said, we have our holidays, we have our jobs, we have our things, so there had to be a deadline. That's it. I'm not gonna extend it for anybody. I don't wanna hear it. Excuses.
You make a great professor.
So is that midnight?
Great professor. so-
Midnight?
Midnight, yeah, midnight.